All right, so fashion in the metaverse, we're going to be talking about that in a deep dive way today. We're here at DCENTRAL in Miami. My name is Paul Barron. Welcome back in. Let's get into it today with Amber Slooten, who is the creative director and co-founder at the Fabricant. So
Yes.
Great to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, okay, so coming in from Amsterdam.
Yes.
The Fabricant, I think for some of our viewers on the Metaverse Insider show, a lot of people will recognize your brand.
Yeah.
Some people who are just getting into crypto may not necessarily understand NFTs and fashion, how that connects the dots.
Yeah.
Tell me quickly what you guys are trying to do within fashion and the metaverse and kind of the next jump for you.
Yeah, totally. I think what we're trying to do is create a beautiful new experience where people are able to co-create fashion together. So it's no longer the brand saying like, hey, listen, this is what you have to buy.
Right.
But it's really us saying there is a platform for your creativity and you can directly connect with your consumers and they become co-creators. So the name consumer translates to co-creator. And we're building the infrastructure for brands to really connect to their consumers directly, but also for young designers to set up their own labels and for people who just want to enjoy fashion and co-create fashion, influence the way their garments look, to co-create with us on the platform. So the entire infrastructure is really about creating a space where creativities can flourish without having to think of, okay, who am I going to include in the smart contract? Because that is all programmed before.
Okay, so Amber, when you look at fashion, the history of fashion has been designers, labels, traditional creators that really kind of go a different track in the essence of, everything from fashion shows, etc. Metaverse has kind of changed that dynamic to a certain extent. Some of it still has similar rails of what the fashion industry has, but there's a lot more opportunity. When you look at that and what you guys are doing, where is the biggest opportunity for fashion? Do you feel like this is more of an NFT play for the brand side of it, whether it's luxury brands or any brand? Or do you feel like this is a more experiential play for the designers inside of these metaverses as they start to develop?
I think both. Both are going to be extremely important. And I think for us, like you said, that the Fabricant might be a name that people might know. But for me, like 4 years ago, like we didn't even exist.
Right.
And without this technology, we could have never existed.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's not so easy to start a fashion label. You have to really make a name for yourself, and it's really hard. Get an investment, be in Paris Fashion Week, really get the crowds going. Well, I feel like in the metaverse, there's a way more open space where you can actually, as a young designer, create your own label in a very easy way, like we have done. Right? We're the perfect example of that, and I think. The idea that experiences are going to become extremely important because you can really take people into the experience.
So you hit on a couple things there I think really important on creators, especially a lot of the fashion designers that are upstarts, maybe their first time. In many cases, they don't get those kind of breaks. Totally. And you look at where NFTs are going and also just metaverse in the whole. Brand partnerships have been a big key factor here. You look at Artifact, what Nike's Swoosh has done. Fantastic movement. When you look at Artifact's kind of genesis of where they came from and where they are now.
Yeah.
Big remake.
Yeah.
For the Fabricant, what is the growth for you guys? Where brand partnership wise? How will this play out for you?
Well, we really see our ecosystem as being a way for brands to directly connect with their consumers, becoming co-creators.
Right.
That's really the idea. So if brands come to us, we can create the infrastructure for people to co-create with the brand, which means that the co-creators actually become owners of the brand as well. They own the NFTs of the brand. When they gain value, of course, they're also getting value.
Okay.
So the idea is really that the brands will come into this new value system in a way and have a better way of really working with the Web3 values in a Web2 way. That's the idea.
Yeah. A lot of our audience, they cover our show, Metaverse Insider. And one of the things I get in terms of the comments from a lot of our audience is not only the partnerships, but also how is the utility aspect? In other words, where is this going to exist out there in the metaverse today?
Yeah.
You look at spatial, you look at Decentraland, some of these things that you guys are working on right now, but there's so many others. Obviously, when you look at things that Nike has done with .swoosh, they themselves have started to really kind of move into a next generation layer. I looked at the numbers in terms of revenue.
Yeah.
I mean, they're in the mid-billions right now
Yeah.
of total revenue for just that side. So the
Crazy.
opportunity is huge. When
It's
you look at
massive.
that, where am I going to see the Fabricant, say, in 24 months?
Yeah, like what we really want to create the space for people to massively adopt this. So it should become an experience where people easily are onboarded, and it has to feel like an experience that is Web 2. So like the swoosh, it's
Right.
really important to create something that people don't feel like it is crypto related, but actually the whole infrastructure behind it,
Exactly.
is blockchain. And I think that is a massively important step because otherwise people are not going to get into it, especially the fashion crowd.
Right.
Because
right.
they are used to just one click of a button and I have my garment at home.
And it's done. Yeah.
Exactly. So you
Yeah.
need to cater for that audience. So until we get the tech right,
Well,
that's
and the
going to be-
onboarding too, because this is something that we've talked about here on at the event so many times, and with a lot of teams that are saying, "Hey, listen, onboarding is going to be a big factor here. It's going to be
massive.
probably one of the critical elements that we have to really kind of resolve."
Totally.
With that, how close do you think we are before we start to see, we'll call it the normal fashion crowd that's ready to buy on Instagram, ready to buy on most digital e-coms, to
Yeah.
be able to leap into what's going to happen in Metaverse and NFTs?
Yeah, we're building that. So hopefully as soon as possible. I think what we're really trying to do is next 24 months is really about that.
Yeah.
So creating the infrastructure, making sure that it's user friendly, and especially because right now it is kind of a winter, it is something that we can really work on, kind of to build the tools that are sustainable and
Yeah.
that people can really use in the long run, not a short-term solution of like, oh no, let's just do something because we got to make money. No, let's really build something that has of lasting value.
Okay, so all right, so I like the ideas that I'm hearing so far from a lot of creators, especially in the platforms and the ecosystems, because it's something that I feel like once we get that tech right,
Yeah.
and you kind of build the rails, so to speak, much like what e-commerce was for a lot of retail.
Totally, yeah.
I think there's a huge opportunity there. The next phase that I talk about a lot, and that we talk about here on the show, is what experiential element is going to be that connective tissue.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
many people will say, all right, it's going to be AR.
Yeah.
No, it's going to be VR. No, it's going to be, traditional 2D.
Yeah.
What we're dealing with today in the web.
Yeah.
Where do you think that is going to work? Do you think we're going to see kind of a little bit of everything, or
I think so.
what do
I
you think it's going to look like?
Yeah, I think like there's two sides to this. On the one hand, AR is of course rapidly developing, and I think if you have like lenses or glasses to really express yourself, if I imagine I would look at you and you would wear a digital look, this would be way more convenient than me
It'd
bringing
be
this.
so much fun.
And you know, right? Like
That would
bringing
be-
this super
as long
big
as we could
suitcase.
translate the camera that way.
Yeah,
that would be cool.
That would be super awesome. Right now, if I would have like some kind of snap cam activated right now, we could be wearing digital fashion right now in this interview
Okay,
already.
so now we're talking about cool tech.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that for a second, because this
Yeah.
is a device that I got a chance to see about 6 months ago.
Yeah,
I won't mention the company. They're in stealth mode right now.
yeah.
And the idea behind it is, I don't know if I can talk about this. Let me kind of dumb it down in the sense, all right, so the idea behind this for Web3 fashion is that you would have a device,
Yeah.
very small, maybe something as small as this little microphone right here. And this is transmitting a signal
Yeah.
to a visual element that is then repopulated on the other side. So much like a
Exactly.
camera
Yeah.
or a phone, even in selfies,
Yeah.
that would almost like an NFC.
So cool.
All right. So if that were to happen,
Yeah.
in terms of, do you think that's going to draw in? I know that's going to get the Zoomers. I know we're going to see this
Yeah.
in the younger crowd because they're
Yeah.
going to get it. They're going to completely understand it in the gaming community and all that.
Yeah.
But do you think this will draw in the millennials, the
Yeah.
older millennials,
Yeah.
and even the Gen X? What are your thoughts in terms of demographics?
Yeah, I think so. I think we see already some Gen Xers kind of using Snapchat filters sometime. I think for millennials it will definitely be understandable. I think as long as it's connected to something that's easy to use,
Yeah.
they will start using it. So if this is like a necklace that you're wearing, and when
Yeah.
you're photographing someone, this will come up.
Boom.
I mean, this is insane, right? This kind
Yeah.
of technology is what we're all waiting for. I mean, I could also be saying to you right now that I'm wearing a digital look, but you'll never know, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's kind of the idea of like in the future, I won't have to bring my massive suitcase with all of the looks that I'm going to wear this week.
Oh, that would be cool.
How nice would that
Traveling.
be? Like really every morning or every hour even
More
switch looks.
IRL wearables. I like it.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the demo of fashion in general. This has been mostly a female-forward industry.
Yeah.
Do you think this will be the catalyst that really brings women into Web3?
Totally. We've already
think this
seen it
is
with
it?
our
Yeah.
we've seen it with our platform. So a lot of really crypto guys really like showing their wives like, hey, maybe
Look
this
what
is
you can
something
do.
cool for
Yeah.
you. And we've really seen that adoption. Also, people saying, hey, I've used this with my kids and they love it.
Right.
So also when I look at kids, they're so easy to really choose garments and style themselves online. It's like
Yeah.
something that is
and
natural
within the
to
games,
them.
they completely get it.
Exactly.
You know,
They totally
for
get
sure.
it. So for me, that is really a massive market that we can onboard. And right now, that is not enough. In Web3, there's not enough women. So for me, it's like we have to get everybody on board. And even also, like, for instance, non-binary folk.
Right.
For me, that's also something that is extremely important to get the diversity into the industry, to
Yeah.
build something that matters for all of us.
Our audience talks about, we get into gaming a lot, we get into the NFT aspects within the game itself and kind of that evolution that is starting to occur. When you look at NFTs, wearables, fashion, we also have a Web2 titan industry that has kind of controlled this for a very long time, much
Yeah.
like gaming has done in Web2.
Yeah.
Do you think that we'll see Web2 integration for gaming and other digital technology start to take NFT fashion and ingest those in? Think Fortnite, in the
Yeah.
essence of bringing something like a Fabricant lineup in their armor, full armor, and then,
Yeah, I think this would be a great
Cool
start.
gowns.
This would be wonderful. I think there are already a lot of really cool brands collaborating with Fortnite. I mean, of course, Nike was the first with the Jordans, I think, that you could
Yeah.
wear in game. This is a great example of how to onboard people.
Right.
And I think if these spaces become more accessible, so if we're creating metaverses that are easy to access, you'll have your online wardrobe anyway, and you'll want to style
Right.
yourself. Whether this is from Spatial or any place that you want to go to, DCENTRAL, anywhere you would want to have your kind of passport of your digital looks, let's say, that you can
Right.
actually enter with.
Yeah.
So like a wallet can really function as your wardrobe, basically.
I got to work on my wardrobe in Ready Player Me because I have one wardrobe, black.
We've got
I'm gonna-
some great looks for you.
I need to step my game up a little bit, I think.
Yeah, we have
All
a
right.
lot of stuff like already that you can wear in Spatial right now. So
There you go.
if people want to experiment with that, yeah, you can totally look at that.
I like it for sure.
Yeah.
All right, you guys are going to check out Spatial if you haven't already checked it. Spatial is really cool. We had the guys on yesterday. If you haven't looked at what Fabricant is doing, make sure and check them out. Their website, I was just looking at it. You guys have a ton of new collections. The whole land now coming in.
Yeah, yeah.
So is there anything within what you're doing now that you can sneak us any kind of information? Anything a little bit?
Yeah.
Throw us something.
It's really exciting because like the coming year is lined up with a lot of beautiful kind of new projects and new collaborations that we're going to do.
Okay.
And basically the accessories that we're launching in February.
Okay.
These will be digital wearables that you can wear on Snapchat.
Ooh, nice.
And any kind of video
So
calls.
that's Web2 integration right
Exactly.
there. Yeah.
So it's NFTs that are related to a Snapchat filter. So they're integrated. And when you sell the NFT, also the Snapchat filter will disappear. So it's really like you can use the object in calls, etc.
All right, so there's a lot of opportunity, and I've talked to a lot of devs now that are on the Twitter team, and they're trying to do a lot within that in the essence of creating kind of a new media play within this. And I could see this, most likely it's going to be Twitter, whether it's a Snapchat or a TikTok kind of mode, where we'll start to see more augmented reality kind of playing into those social media platforms.
Yeah.
Those are really going to open up, I think, a lot of opportunity, much like what you just mentioned right there. So that's going to be huge.
It's wearability, number one, wearability.
Yeah.
For me, that's the most important thing. Like, how do we make this wearable for people? And immediately, not tomorrow, immediately. And if you own one of the accessories, you will get a lot of benefits as a holder. So there will be like special drops with a new collection, but also brand collaborations that will come next year. And we have very interesting people lined up. So
very cool. Very cool. Last question to you is: you look at shopping in general in the metaverse right now. You can flow through an Instagram feed, and you're in a whole shopping environment within seconds.
Yeah.
Same thing is starting to happen in TikTok. We're starting to see a little bit of integration in other social platforms out there. Metaverse, we're not quite there yet. So my question to you is, first, how long before we start to see real integration into e-com on Metaverse? But and more importantly, who do you think is going to lead the way? Do you think it will be fashion, or do you think there's some other opportunities there?
I think fashion will be a big one. I'm not sure if it will lead the way. I think in terms of dressing, this will be massive, right? Because we know how to dress, and we know what's important. From the gaming industry as well, there's a lot of really cool opportunities within games. The modifiers to create your looks, like that's insane,
Big
right?
time. Yeah.
That's really beautiful. So I think there's a lot of inspiration for gaming to take for fashion and the other way around. Because in a lot of games, the assets that you see are quite fantasy-like, which have maybe not so much to do with fashion currently.
Yeah.
And I think the integration of the two will be a beautiful new combination.
That's going to be cool.
Yeah, and I really hope that fashion brands will work together with games more. We're already seeing it.
Yeah.
But I think it would be amazing to see more fashion versions of the games, let's say, and other way around. So really,
how far do you think this is going to go? Because you're already starting to see a lot of integrations with a lot of the major fashion brands, especially the luxe brands. Balenciaga, Rolex is now rolling out an NFT line.
Yeah.
You had Breitling, who has now launched their entire series of new watches into NFT platforms. Most likely, Patek is going to be moving in there.
Yeah.
Where does this stop? Do you think they're just getting started?
Yeah, totally. I think there's so many projects in the making right now that we don't even know about. And I really hope that next to the fact that there's these traditional gatekeepers, that have always been there, that there's going to be new players like us, like other people who can influence.
Yeah, start to break those doors down.
Yeah, in a new kind of way. Let's say a new thought pattern that is different for fashion.
It's happened before in the tech industry. You guys know this. I mean, when we saw the revolution of what Web 2 was, a lot of it was the old line industries that just got digitized.
Yeah.
And then e-commerce came, then people figured it out. I think what we're getting ready to see, though, right now with Metaverse NFTs is maybe, you're talking about maybe a 10x type opportunity here.
Totally.
Many people, I don't know that they completely get that just yet.
No, because there's everybody on the planet is wearing fashion.
Yeah.
And we are all using a phone right now.
Yeah.
So if you think about that.
Bingo. Tie it together.
Yeah.
I like it. Amber, good to have you. Thank you so much for stopping in.
Thank you for the lovely conversation.
You bet. All right, so you guys are still staying tuned here at DCENTRAL. We're going to continue to get some more coverage for you. Make sure and drop a few comments below if you like us covering events like this. We'd love to hear that from you. And of course, we'll catch you next time right here on Tech Path.